Greetings and welcome back to the Better Health Challenge. I'm Sean Episcopo from NoHusbandLeftBehind.com. In this session for week 2, we're going to focus on the area of exercise. And remember, my friend, that this challenge is considered a challenge for the rest of us. This is not for the person who works out every day, who's been an athlete all their life, and is nearly ready to break a new world record. This is a challenge for those of us that are busy. We're running to and fro. We've got many different responsibilities and things of priority, and we want to make our physical health a priority. We still want to find some way to make some tweaks, some adjustments to focus on our physiological health and well being. And remember, my friend, this is focusing on just our physical health. It's not going to be holistic. We're not going to be looking at mental health, spiritual health, or anything other than just our physical health. And we'll go ahead and get started, if we will, with the intro. And I guess I should start by saying, welcome, my friend. Welcome back to session 2. Hopefully, the first session we spoke on nutrition, we came up with some ideas, and I would love to hear from you in the community how things are going with you. But let's go ahead and move on to this particular week as we transition to exercise. For this session, our real primary goal is to get our physical bodies moving. And ultimately, we really want to keep the blood flowing, right? We don't want to just sit and be stagnant. So, now, of course, granted, kind of keep an open mind with everything that I tell you. This is not me instructing you to do step by step by step. And I'm not interested in micromanaging your activities, my friend, but I am interested in the all inclusive way that we get so busy and we do so many different things. And sometimes our home life and our work life does not really support the opportunity for our physical bodies to continually move. Like even sitting here doing this video, I could be moving my arms, I could be moving my legs, you know what I mean, just to kind of keep a little bit of motion so that the blood continues to flow. But now remember, my friend, that you're in the driver's seat with everything that we teach. So, I'm going to work with you on the things that I'm doing, the things that work best for my wife and me, but I want you to tweak them to your own interest. So go ahead and sit down and rest whenever you feel like you need to. Now, remember, for those of us that like to get into the Bible and study God's holy word, if you open up the very beginning in the book of Genesis, those first few chapters, we read that God created everything, created the heavens above, the earth where we live, everything on the land, everything in the sea, everything in the air. It was all His. He worked, He produced the results within 6 days. Then, once He was finished, God went ahead and rested on the seventh day. Now, truthfully, my friend, I believe that He gave this to us as an example. We should live similar lives. We should work at whatever capacity that is, producing some level of results. And that may be employment, that may be business. For those who need to stay home and take care of their children, being, that perfect dad, that perfect mom, you're doing all kinds of activities producing very strong positive results. And that's what we're looking at. That actually takes a lot of our energy, a lot of our strength, a lot of our, focus. But then once you work up to a certain point, we really want you to realize that you should actually say, okay, God rested and I should rest. So I believe that both working and resting are important for all of us. Now, also keep in mind that during this Better Health Challenge, everything that I instruct you on, my friend, I want you to consult your doctor before you start any new program that could impact your health. This is just a reminder that I'm sure every program that you go through should be making sure that there's always that as the initial focus, that you need to focus on getting an expert to make sure that this is what's best for you. Now, truthfully, between you and me, this challenge is going to focus on the basics, so there's going to be very minimal stress. And what I mean by that is there's going to be certain things each and every one of our 5 sessions we're going to actually do together as a community to the best of our ability. Now, go ahead and tweak them if you have to, my friend. So you can adjust whatever you need to make it work for you. Now, let's go ahead and start with the assess part, where we want to look at where you are now in the present, where I am now. And just a quick question, how often do you feel that you currently exercise? And, don't put too much thought into it, but, how often in the sense of, maybe once or twice a week, maybe it's every day. It depends on what you identify exercise as. So the second question is, which exercises or which things do you do regularly? And honestly, that can be so open depending on what you do in the workplace, what you do at home, for those of us that help out around the church or volunteer in the community, whatever it is, all of that could be some form of exercise, depending on how you look at it. I'm only asking the question to get you to really think in terms of what do you feel that you're currently doing right now that could actually be considered exercise, to get the body moving, get the blood flowing. So honestly, maybe you have a crazy busy schedule. Maybe you're not able to be consistent with your exercise or, keeping things moving around, doing different activities. It's okay, my friend. Life happens, people get busy, you've got lots of responsibilities. But now maybe today, right here, right now, while you're watching this video and thinking about it, I believe this may be your time to begin making things happen toward a better you. The other question to consider on the a little bit different side is how active are you? So the last slide we talked about exercise. Now the second slide, I want you to think in terms of how active, do you feel like you're, very minimal active or, very, active in the sense of you're constantly on your feet, moving around, doing this, doing that? Or do you feel like your activities are more done sitting in a chair behind a desk? You can still be active either way, but maybe we can have a combination of the two of these where you get to do some things on your feet and while you're sitting down. So I just want you to think in terms, my friend, are you open to some level of change in your life for improvement? And I'm pretty sure that you're going to say yes, of course, if you're watching this video, if you're part of this challenge. But I want you to understand me, my friend, that I believe with just some minor adjustments, no all going crazy and trying a whole new approach to doing life. I mean, doing what you're currently doing with just making some minor adjustments, I honestly believe that we can begin to discover a healthier you. Now let's go ahead and move on from assessing where we are now to let's consider what we want the future to look like. Where would we like to be, as we go through this challenge? Now, in the next 3 or 6 months from now, what really do you think you'd like to see as being different? You know what I mean? So just kind of think about it. I made a few notes. Maybe it's something like a smaller waistline. Maybe it's a lower number on the scale. Maybe it's you want to be able to climb more steps, just be able to do a little bit more than you're currently doing. Maybe it's not having to catch your breath, running after, a younger person in the family, a child, grandchild. Maybe it's just that, you've got this idea in your mind where you'd like to go. That's what I want you to focus on being your motivation throughout this challenge, my friend. So to just kind of recap it real quick, are you willing to integrate just a little bit more exercise and or activity into your already super busy lifestyle? I know every day you've got so much to do. I don't want you to change anything so much. I want you to just look at ways you can tweak things a little bit through your already, you know, over busy day and probably not getting, everything done on your to-do list. What I want you to do, my friends, just consider this idea of a little bit more exercise and or a little more activity. So our desire is to identify something positive just to do over the next few days. and we don't want to make this difficult for you. Let's integrate into what you're already doing. So this week, I'm going to ask you, why don't we as a community focus on walking more? Now, this one activity, many people in the industry would say is probably our very best single choice. If you only have time for one exercise or one, thing that you can do to promote a little bit better physical health, perhaps walking, where you're moving your arms, moving your legs, and your heart's actually, in sync and everything seems like it's flowing, the blood's moving through. And there may be, depending on what your doctor has for you to do, there may be something else you need to consider. I mean, honestly, if you've recently had a foot injury, or um, let's say if you've had surgery on your foot or your ankle or whatever, then pass up what I'm talking about here. Find something to do with your hands, if you will. But for the rest of us, let's just focus on walking just a little bit more than we currently are. I realize that we're all busy, we all get distracted, but walking is something we're likely already doing. So maybe we can just add like an extra 5% or 10% or whatever you can do each day. All right, so we've assessed where we are. We've actually considered, okay, where do I really want to go? Now let's evaluate the journey. Let's look at how we're going to close that gap this week. Now, let us commit, though, my friend, and make this thing real. So, if you're going to do a little bit more walking with me and with others in the community, that's great. If you have to make some other adjustment, depending on, your physical health and your feet right now, your knees and whatnot, like I said, consult your doctor with anything that may actually make a change. We don't want to make any negative changes. You understand me, right? This is a positive change, something you're already doing. We just want to do a little bit more activity. So exercise should always be easy and painless. It should not be something that should ever hurt you. So this week, we're going to look for ways to walk a little bit more than usual. Maybe parking the automobile a little further away when you go into work, when you go to the store, or wherever you are. Whatever you can do, my friend, to make things a little bit easier. Now, I mean, if you got a regiment that's really difficult to change at work and other places, perhaps just taking a walk around the house, where you live. Maybe there's a way you can take a walk around the park, even just once a week, just to kind of integrate something a little bit more than you're doing today. Now, you're welcome to take on more exercise if you want to, with your doctor's blessing, of course. But I'm going to ask you, let's try to focus on walking if you're physically capable of, and or if you got to do something different, find something that you can do that's not going to cause you any more pain or suffering. So by you saying yes to this challenge and by you saying yes to this week's activity, for most of us, it's going to be walking just a little bit more. I believe you're progressing toward a better you. And a better way of life can begin with just one or two minor adjustments, my friend, to exercise and or activity. You can always add another tweak to your regimen later, like I said, but now let's go and make it happen. So if you enjoyed this quick training video, and I hope you have, consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and then be on the lookout for other videos. And one last thought, my friend, is for additional resources and or to connect within our community, feel free to visit our website, nohusbandleftbehind.com. I want to thank you for being a part of this challenge. I wish you the very best over this upcoming week, and God bless.